I wrote a little song to remind you, Choice Hotels get you more of the experiences you value. The Cambria Hotel's got it all. A rooftop bar, have a ball. Bring a date, your squad, or even your mom. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi!
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
The socialists and, quite frankly, the Jew haters had a great night last night in New York City, winning congressional races all over the place. And what the hell is happening? What does it mean? We're joined by Ryan James Gradowski, native New Yorker, Roman Catholic, by the way, 1776 Project PAC, and he's got one of the best Substacks around, just a brilliant political mind. Ryan Gradowski, welcome back. How are you? What do you make of last night?
Good. Thanks for having me. You know, it was a really good night for not just for socialists, but for New York transplants, because those were the people who were electing them, and those were the ones who were really active. You know, these results weren't humongous. It wasn't like the Mandani primary where there were unbelievable numbers of people coming out. It was not a hugely high turnout election, but it was also very high, though, among recent people coming to New York who are transplants. And they have to justify the reason that they're in this city, which is because of Michael Bloomberg, because of Rudy Giuliani, because of the New Yorkers who built this place. And they resent them, possibly because they resent their own fathers and they resent everything else in America. However, they have to justify why they're here. And they are here, and that's why they vote in socialists. By the way, none of the people who won last night, not a single one, were born in New York, raised in New York, have lived, most of them have not even lived in New York for a decade, and they are the ones now representing New York, which is very interesting.
That is interesting, and your kind of psychoanalysis of it all is also kind of fascinating. I want to put it in a little bit of perspective, I guess. So how many socialists do we now have in Congress? Technically, I think, these guys have got to go through the general, but that's kind of a fait accompli. So we're going to go from 2 socialists in Congress to 4. Now, by that, it doesn't really potentially mean all that, but it does mean all that. But tell us how it means all that.
We already have 2 that just got elected in New Jersey in special elections. So we're actually going to go from 2 to 7. So right, it will be, still a low amount, but yes, still we'll have more than we used to have.
And it's going to pull. These people are big mouths, and they've got a lot of status, and they got a cool factor. And I believe they intimidate people like Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, and you got Bernie Sanders on their side. So they're going to pull the party even further to the left, right?
Well, because everyone lives in fear of them. I mean, the only thing that probably prevented Hakeem Jeffries from getting a primary challenge was Mandani telling everyone not to run against him. But if they chose to challenge him, who knows if they would have won. Grace Meng, who is a fairly liberal Asian Democrat in Queens, New York, she only won her primary by 15 points against a no-name. That's how active the left was even in her own district. And the problem is, as sensible people continually leave the Democratic Party because it's nuts, the ones who are left are the DSA. They are in full control because they're the last man standing at the insane asylum.
So all right, a couple of things. The people who are still there, the Schumers of the world, right? I sense that they will go crazy, like on purpose. They're gonna adopt these positions as their own before they would leave. They see the writing on the wall. They want to keep power. They want power more than they want to help. So my question is, do you think more of that's going to happen, or the DSA is just going to marginalize itself and all the sane people are going to leave?
Well, I don't think there's anything Schumer could do to win them over. I don't think there's anything Schumer could do to win them over. I think that Schumer's fate is basically being written right now. Maybe on a statewide level, maybe Schumer can have some chance of surviving if you add in Long Island and a lot of the Orthodox Jews in Rockland County and Staten Island. Maybe Schumer could have a chance, but I doubt it. At the same exact day, I think Schumer's basically done for. If you look at what the DSA actually believes in, more than just housing for all, more than just freeing criminals from jail and abolishing the police, and of course Gaza, because Gaza, everything has to do with Gaza at all times, day or night, what they actually came out in their platform recently is Even crazier than that, their other positions are to abolish the Supreme Court and the presidency and put it under purview of Congress. And by Congress, they also want to abolish the Senate. Abolishing the Electoral College has also been around for quite some time. They want to abolish the idea of billionaires and take all their wealth and take their assets, increase taxes on people who make more than, I think it's $2 million a year, over 80%. They want extreme levels of wealth confiscation and private property confiscation, and of course, every kind of DEI, anti-white policy under the sun. What the media has covered them talking about is really more of their moderate positions and not the far left positions that are also in the grouping of all their radical beliefs.
Say that last part again. I don't understand. The media, what did the media miss?
The media
or what
has been
are they
focusing a lot on the issues of Gaza, for example, which has broad support in the Democratic Party. They haven't talked about the fact that they have put out papers saying, we need to abolish the Senate. That's been one of the DSA's main positions for quite some time. They haven't ridiculed these people yet as being left-wing, nonsensical lunatics. And that's what they deserve to be mocked as.
And with that, I guess I keep hearing, well, this is potentially an advantage to Republicans going into the midterms. I think it's a high-risk advantage, if it's an advantage. Is it an advantage, run against these maniacs and hold the Senate, hold the House?
Definitely paint them as but remember, this is going far beyond New York City. They have DSA members who won primaries in Montana. They've got DSA members who won primaries in the Midwest. They're having a DSA primary. DSA won Grand Platter in Maine, and a DSA candidate is running U.S. Senate in Michigan right now. El Said is his last name. They have far left DSA candidates running all over the place. What's really interesting, Greg, if you think of how long black voters were the institutional support and the institutional bedrock of the Democratic Party, how quickly they have been usurped by Muslim immigrants, it's almost kind of shocking how quickly one group has displaced the other. It's just, a side note, but it's an interesting note. And the only thing that really locks these people in is their hatred of capitalism, their disdain for America, and their demand to free Gaza and to obliterate the state of Israel, and also open borders and ICE.
And there are great people like you and some content creators out there and strategists like yourself, but I don't think that there are all that many. Well, there's Brandon Gill, but you got a lot of John Thunes. You got a lot of people who are not really comfortable making this, aggressive yet true argument that you're and raising the alarm.
Well, the funny thing is, I was Brandon Gill's general consultant in his primary campaign. So it's funny you lobbed the two of us into with each other. Yeah.
Well, spot on, right? I mean,
yeah. Brandon's a gem. Yeah, I mean, we don't have as many clear, coherent fighters who don't care if you call us racist or this thing or that. It's water off a duck's back at this point. It doesn't really mean anything to anybody because we've heard when Mitt Romney and John McCain were accused of being racist, being Nazis, and all the rest of it, really the term lost all of its meaning. When Mitt Romney, who's probably never said a swear word in his entire life, was accused of being a Nazi, it really did lose every kind of merit it had back to people who can remember 2012. So I think that it is a time for Republicans to be fearless, but also it's a time as Trump starts exiting the White House, and he still has another 2 years left, but as his time in office starts dwindling, to say what do we want now? What does our future hold? What are we going to actually try to achieve going forward in the next decade or so? Because the 2030 decade, with redistricting the way it's going, the way people leaving California, leaving New York, leaving Illinois, and moving to Texas and Florida, we could win the presidency every year in the 2030s if we just hold North Carolina, Ohio, Florida, Arizona, and Texas and Georgia. We don't need Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin anymore. We don't need New Hampshire, Minnesota, New Mexico. We don't have to reach any of these states. We just have to reach the states that voted for Trump either in 3 of the last 3 elections or 2 of the last 3 elections. So winning the White House becomes much easier, but having something to really campaign on is what they have a clear, coherent, tangible set of policies that people can understand, even if they're wackadoodle leftists and they're nuts. They're tangible. What is our counter?